Let's begin there, guys. Brian here at 3TR. I'm here to present to you another episode of my weekly Q&A show, How the People's Questions, episode 190, where I answer your guys' awesome questions that you have sent me in the past week. I gotta say, we got a much shorter list than last episode, only coming from about 4 of you guys, so to jump right into them, and surprisingly, they're all regulars. The first question comes from JDS4696, and you want to know, do I think that Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zero and The Phantom Pain should have come out together as one single video game? Yes, I do. I think it was absolutely stupid for them to want to release both of these at different times, especially since Ground Zero pretty much is nothing but a demo, which I was able to defeat in like 20 minutes. And so I thought that the concept was stupid. And the fact that we had to pay $40 for initially a demo is even ridiculous. Doing this would have been the equivalent of taking, say, the Virtuous mission from Metal Gear Solid 3 and making that its own separate thing. Or taking the Tanker mission from Metal Gear Solid 2 and making that its own thing. So I just think it's ridiculous and it's just a complete waste of time. So it should have been released together. The next 3 questions come from Jensen10Uncle, and you want to know, which do I prefer, Western RPGs or JRPGs? Definitely JRPGs. I think Western RPGs are absolute garbage. I can't get into any of them just because they all look and play alike to the point where the gameplay is just somewhat repetitive. And at least with something like JRPGs, I think they just have better stories. I like the gameplay mechanics more, and they seem to have much more variety in gameplay functions. And Western RPGs, which, you know, kind of all copy each other. Your second question is, what are my top 3 RPG games? Oh, that's an easy one. I'm gonna go Chrono Trigger. You gotta go old school. Final Fantasy X, even though I've said many times that Final Fantasy X is my favorite Final Fantasy game, but Final Fantasy VII is the most important video game I've ever played in my life. And number 3 has got to be Ni no Kuni and the White Witch. That game most recently was probably the best RPG I had played in over 10 years, and I was just so excited to get my hands on that. And your last question is, am I excited for any of the upcoming Japanese games on the PlayStation 4? I'd like to, but I can't play Japanese games because I have an American PlayStation 4, so it's kind of hard to get excited for Japanese games. I mean, unless you're talking about stuff that comes out from like Capcom or stuff like that. The next 2 questions come from Henry Rashish, and you want to know, have I been interested in the Funko Pop figures? If so, what is my favorite? If you're talking about some of those figures that we've gotten from Loot Crate, I would probably say my favorite one that I've gotten was probably the Batman Joker mix-up. I hadn't seen anything like that, and it still remains my favorite. As it stands right now, I have only 5 of them, and, you know, since I don't have Loot Crate anymore, I don't think I'll be getting any more in the future, unless, you know, someone buys them for me. The second question is, what games am I excited for this holiday season? I don't know about holiday season. I mean, as it stands right now, there's only like a few more games I guess I'll be playing this year. Just Dance is coming out next. And then you got Halo 5, and then I have to rent Call of Duty. Not buying it, I'm renting it. And those are the only 3 that I can think of off the top of my... Oh, wait, there's Need for Speed 2. So those 4 games are really the only games I can think of that I'll be playing for the rest of the year. If there's something else that pops up, then I'll be sure to rent it and play it and review it when it comes out. And the last question comes from Angel of Death, and you want to know, with it recently being outed for the new Tomb Raider game, will have microtransactions. What are my thoughts on full-price games having them? I think it's a little bit ridiculous. I mean, do we all remember an era not too long ago when you bought a game and you pretty much got everything that the game could offer? And then you get to the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 era, and now we have all this DLC stuff. Which, okay, I understand you want to make us pay, you know, to add content to help further our experience in the game. Okay, I can understand that if the game's value is dropped. But now we got all these microtransactions to get stuff that I think should already come with the game, and, you know, most recently, this whole Destiny microtransactions to get these little emotes. Now, I'll admit, I've already bought 2 of them, but I didn't have to pay for them. Apparently, since I got the Legendary Edition, I was already given some of this silver to buy 2 emotes, and that's what I plan to do. I don't really see a purpose to have to spend real money to get something so insignificant as these emotes. And if all these other games start following this pattern, then we're going to get to a point where we're spending more for a game that we should already just get everything with the game because we paid full price for it. And, you know, they'll probably just release some, I don't know, Define or, you know, Definite Edition later on that comes with all this stuff anyway. So it's like, it's unbelievable. I think it's ridiculous. I don't think too many games should follow this pattern. Otherwise, it's going to inspire other games, and then this generation is just going to be known for microtransactions, which I personally think is ridiculous. And with that, those are all the questions you guys sent for this episode. I'd like to thank you guys for making this episode possible. If you guys like this video, feel free to like and comment down below with your questions. Make sure you send your questions into me before next Wednesday, before I start filming this. And like always, I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.